Let's be honest, trying to navigate the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification, or CMMC, can feel completely overwhelming. It's like you've been handed a puzzle with 110 moving pieces and the clock is ticking. The whole path to compliance is just loaded with questions, the kind that can definitely keep you up at night. So in this explainer, we're going to tackle those questions head on and show you a clear path from that CMMC chaos to total confidence. All right, let's dive right in. For so many people, the CMMC journey starts with one single massive thought. Where do we even begin? You're staring at this mountain of 110 controls, and you can just feel the pressure building. Yeah, does this look a little familiar? It's way more than just a checklist, isn't it? It's a fundamental shift in how you protect sensitive data. And for a lot of us, it feels like trying to untangle this massive, complicated knot, all while a deadline is looming over your shoulder. These are the big ones, right? The questions that seriously keep compliance pros up at night. Where do we start? Who does what? How do we actually fix this stuff? How do we prove our work? And maybe the biggest one of all, is our data actually safe? But what if each of these questions had a clear, actionable answer? Well, that's exactly what we're going to cover. So let's hit that first and probably biggest hurdle. Where do you even begin? A project this massive can cause some serious analysis paralysis, but the key is to stop trying to do everything all at once. Instead, you've got to build a solid foundation first. The answer is all about having a clear four-step process. See, it's not about trying to boil the ocean. It's about methodically laying the groundwork. You start with people, defining roles. Then you define ownership with something called a shared responsibility matrix. Then, and this is crucial, you bring in real-world threat data from frameworks like MITRE ATTM. And finally, you sync where you are right now. This structured start is absolutely the key to getting off on the right foot. And take a look at this. Step 3, integrating threat intelligence. You know, this right here is a total game changer. Instead of just looking at CMMC controls in a vacuum, you're actually mapping them to what real-world adversaries are doing. This turns your compliance checklist into a proactive defense strategy. And as you can see, the platform makes this super simple, just a guided step-by-step process. And boom, here's the result. Your compliance engine is now supercharged with thousands of data points connecting actual threats to your controls. You haven't just started a project, you've built an intelligent system that really understands the threat landscape. Now your foundation is set. Okay, foundation's built, let's move on to the next huge question. With 110 controls, how in the world do you manage all the actual work? You know, who does what, and how do you turn a gap on a spreadsheet into a concrete plan? This is all about execution. Well, the answer starts with this, the Shared Responsibility Model, or SRM. This dashboard gives you that perfect bird's-eye view of ownership across every single one of those 110 controls. You can see exactly who is responsible for what. There's no more ambiguity, no more finger-pointing, it's all right there. To put it simply, the SRM is your master map of accountability. It uses that standard RACI framework you might know, responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed, to make sure that for every single control, somebody is on point. This completely eliminates that risk of important tasks just falling through the cracks. Exactly. I mean, knowing who's responsible is just step one. The real challenge is creating the actual plan. What is that person supposed to do? How do you create a detailed, step-by-step mitigation plan for every single gap without spending, months and months just on documentation? And this is where the magic happens. On the left, you see what we all start with. A gap with no plan, just a blank slate. But with a single click, the AI-powered mitigation plan analyzes the control, the gap, and all that threat intelligence we loaded, and it generates a complete step-by-step implementation guide. That's what you see on the right. This isn't just a time saver. It literally transforms weeks of work into a matter of seconds. Okay, so you've done the work, now you have to prove it. And this brings us to our third critical question, which is all about getting ready for that audit and making sure your evidence is absolutely beyond reproach. Oh man, this is the moment that every compliance manager just dreads. Picture it. An auditor picks up a key piece of your evidence, a policy, a scan report, maybe a screenshot, and asks that simple but kinda terrifying question. How do you know this hasn't been modified? How do you prove its integrity beyond a shadow of a doubt? The answer is something called the integrity ledger. Seriously, think of it as a cryptographic book of records just for your evidence. Every single file gets a unique digital fingerprint. It's called a hash the second it's uploaded. That fingerprint is then timestamped and recorded in a permanent, unchangeable ledger. And just like that, you have a perfect chain of custody. Now, you might be thinking something this powerful has got to be complicated to set up, right? But it's actually just 3 simple steps. You start the wizard, you choose how often you want to verify your files, and you confirm. That's it, you're done. And here's that final step. The system gives you this really clear summary of your settings. See? Verification every 30 days, auto rehashing is on. You know exactly what protection you're getting. All you have to do is click Activate Integrity Ledger. And there it is. The Integrity Ledger is live. This dashboard becomes your single source of truth, your irrefutable record of evidence authenticity. You can see every file, its unique hash, its verification status, and the exact time it was last checked. So when that auditor asks their question, you don't just give them an answer, you show them the immutable proof. Now for our final, and you could argue most important question. When you're dealing with controlled unclassified information, or CUI, you need absolute 100% certainty that your platform is handling that data with the utmost security. This is the core of Athena's entire security architecture. It's a really bold claim, and it's the absolute key to keeping your most sensitive data safe. So let's unpack that. What does this actually mean in practice? It means your CUI never even touches our primary systems. Instead, it's all handled exclusively in these super secure, government-certified cloud environments. We only manage the metadata, the data about the data, and those cryptographic hashes we talked about. This architectural separation is the whole key. It ensures your sensitive data never ever leaves a FedRAMP-certified boundary. So let's step back. We've just walked through the 4 biggest questions: how to start, how to manage the work, how to protect your evidence, and how to secure your data. By addressing each of these, you systematically move from a state of total chaos to one of control and real confidence. And this right here is the final destination: total clarity. With data-driven reports that analyze your evidence coverage, the quality, and the relevance, you're no longer guessing about your readiness. You have a complete, objective view of your compliance posture, and you are ready for any audit that comes your way. We started with all those overwhelming questions that define the CMMC journey. But by building a solid foundation, managing the work systematically, protecting your evidence with cryptography, and securing your data architecturally, those questions, they transform into confident answers. So the only question left really is, are you ready to make that transformation?